I will tell
How
you.
non-Caitlin Clark of you.
Yeah, she's better than me.
Well,
A lot more popular, too.
yeah.
A lot more popular. So we got the coach show coming up in about 58 minutes. All right.
How Cheryl Swoops of you.
So speaking of college football, UNLV's gotten out of the gates with a nice start. Barry Odom was talking about, hey, getting votes in the top 25 is important. He does pay attention now. It's a new system. They got to do their business all year, right? They probably can't lose more than 2 games. It probably has to be 1 game. So this is a long road, but it's a good start. The defense set a tone. The offense showed a lot of promise. Looks like the quarterback position is in good hands. Hopefully Matt Sluka isn't injured at some point. He's going to run a lot, but they got, I think, pretty good backups. I saw a couple of brackets already, and I know these are just discussion points. They're fun to look at, but it's a long season. UNLV in the 12-hole in the college football playoff bracket. What do you want to tell people who are getting all juiced up, Willie?
Well, the New York Post put out that story, 2024, the headline, 2024 college football predictions. Why UNLV will surprise and make the CFP. Here's the thing. I'm not hating on UNLV, but we're talking about being one of the 12 best teams in the nation, correct?
Well, we're talking about being the best group of 5 team in the
nation.
Best
group of 5 team in the nation.
Right.
Pump the brakes. They beat a team that is supposed to finish near or at the bottom of the Big 12. I will admit that the defense did exactly what it was supposed to do against a team that is not going to do anything. By the way, a team that had an offer on the table for the coach and the offensive coordinator of the current UNLV Rebels regime. Okay, we know that. Now, this week is Utah Tech. What is everybody going to say after they go to Kansas? And if they get hammered, now if they're competitive, that's what you want to see. But if they get hammered, how many people are going to go, well, wait a minute. That's a Big 12 team. That's a powerhouse. We're going to give them a pass. Okay, if you're going to do that or credit them for the scheduling of where they're in terms of whatever happens against Kansas, then you have to take in consideration the opponent last week and this week. So let's see what happens in weeks 3 and 4 against Kansas and Syracuse, right? Syracuse is right after Kansas. Before we start jumping the gun and putting this team into a playoff bracket when just 17 minutes ago, this was one of the worst programs in America. I'm not trying to hate on, smack down, punch down, the new thing on Cofield Company.
I like that motion.
That's not what we're doing to Barry Odom and his staff and the UNLV football program.
Yes. Fresno is in between those games
Kansas
before Syracuse. There were some people asking like Matt Sluka about the playoffs, and he answered it perfectly. He's like,
come on,
I'm not looking ahead of the playoffs. Yeah. It's such a long season. And coach, and that is the ultimate coach speech, that it's next opponent. If you start looking ahead,
right,
then those are the games you lose. And I got to tell you, in prior regimes, that was one of the things that they had trouble with. There were moments in the Tony Sanchez era where you were like, hey, they might get to 6 or 7 wins. And inevitably there was a game along the way where maybe they didn't look focused. They got caught. They got a little too cocky. Arroyo, they had problems winning close games. Yeah, it's one game at a time, especially at a program like this. You finally made a bowl game. The CFP is just like the ultimate dream.
Yeah.
But this is a B of a schedule with some really tough road games. Just focus on what you got to focus on.
I will say that I do like Barry Odom. I like the fact that he comes out and said, I think that we should be recognized as a top 25 team. We should get the votes, so on and so forth. I love that attitude because you're instilling confidence, and they're playing with the mentality of, and we said this last year, actually, and I asked you this on shows leading up to week 1 saying, Steve, we're hearing that the mentality out at camp is more like a Power 5 program, like an SEC program. The sort of the mindset of being coached like and programmed like and disciplined like an SEC program. So if you're going to walk that walk, talk that talk, you're probably going to get the product that you want. Yeah. Then you get the conference crown, then you get to the championship game, and then you could talk about the playoff. But right now, it's safe for the coach to say, yeah, we should be getting votes. I think that it's fair to say that. But everyone else that's throwing them in the bracket right off the bat, let's just pump the brakes.
And while top 25 rankings are going to be important as the season goes along, right now they really are worthless.
But wait a minute. The AP and the coaches rankings have nothing to do with the playoff. Those are done by people, not computers.
Good point. It is a committee.
Yeah,
but the committee is affected by, they're not going to freaking jump. It's not going to, hey, number 24 all of a sudden is number 8. We're going to go on our own judgment, our own eye test.
True, but I don't think that the rankings matter as much when it comes to the playoff bracket in college football. I don't think that they care about AP and college ranking. I think there's too much of a bravado of we'll decide. But the rankings,
we'll decide.
But the rankings are good for the team's morale because they're going to play to that level. They're rising to the level of the coaching staff right now. And if they get votes, they're going to rise to the level of that. It just moves on. So,
but there's nothing wrong with having expectations.
No.
And the expectation is they can handle Utah Tech from St. George easily this weekend. Cool ticket specials. Season tickets still available. As low as $150 a seat. You get 6 games for that. $350 in the club seating. UNLVtickets.com is where you can get the season tickets. And they're hoping, right, to build on the momentum from a year ago. And I would love to see them at some point in some big games this year get 35 or 40,000. We'll see. We just saw 60. I mean, how crazy was that on Labor Day, right? 2 mega programs, a great traveling program in LSU and USC fans up, and they've got all the money in the world, and they get 63, whatever it was, 8.
The biggest crowd of anything.
Yep.
They put it on the screen, not just sporting events. They threw the Garth Brooks concert up there. So biggest crowd of any event in Allegiant Stadium, USC, LSU. I was walking around that field, walking around the perimeter.
And you got some good shots. Game. How about that? Was that a USC touchdown right in front of you? I thought you were going to tackle a guy.
That was an LSU guy. That was
LSU, right?
He hauled it in, that incredible catch. And then I got the game winning, threw them up on TikTok.
Nice.
TikTok.
Willie
TikTok.
G. Ramirez with two Z's.
It's the new buzz.
While you're telling UNLV fans not to overreact, what would you tell SC fans, especially off that win?
Different opponent.
Okay, well, their goals, because now they're number 13 in the poll. USC, their goals are to get into the playoff, win national championships.
Right. But they're supposed to be competing for a spot in the bracket at considering the program that it is. And now you beat an SEC team. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're talking about that. I mean, that's a completely different thing. UNLV beat a team that is supposed to do nothing in the Big 12.
I understand.
So just in general?
Well, what I'm saying is now their expectations go way up because they beat LSU.
Yeah, I think
so. Where do they? What's their record after 12 games?
Oh well, I don't know about after 12 because they got to run. They got to run through the Big Ten, the mighty Big Ten.
I'll tell you. Is it mighty? That's the question. That was what I was asking all summer.
Oh, okay.
Is USC and especially Oregon and a little bit of Washington and UCLA's got to get a little better. Are they going to go in and teach the Big Ten a lesson, or are they going to get punched in the freaking face and the Big Ten's going to teach them a lesson?
That remains to be seen because we got to see the flash and pizzazz of the Pac-12 style play now in the Big Ten, the physical smash mouth style football from the Midwest. Which side's going to win? Now, I'll tell you right now, I was highly impressed with the same thing with UNLV, right? The hype up about the offense. I was impressed with the defense of UNLV. I was impressed with the defense of USC. And I love what the mindset that came in with what they did with USC in terms of a lot of off the field programming and the approach that they were doing away from the field during the offseason to get these guys light on their feet, aggressive, agility, nutrition in the weight room, so on and so forth. So the defense is what impressed me with both of those programs.
Yep. Okay. Next 4 games. Got to reset mentally. USC home against Utah State.
Win.
At Michigan.
Ask me after Michigan plays Texas.
Then they come back after that. Home Wisconsin. Tyler Van Dyke did not look great for Wisconsin at quarterback.
Beat Wisconsin at home. They'll beat Wisconsin in the Coliseum.
Have to win games like this. At Minnesota.
Yes.
Because you wouldn't answer, I'm saying you say a loss against Michigan.
That's a big game. I mean,
Okay.
I just went
4-1 after
Of
Minnesota.
course, I just went and toured Ann Arbor in the facility, but no, that's a tough game. But you have to take into consideration what they do against Texas. I think you do.
Yeah, it's a big impression that Michigan's going to lay down. Then they play home against Penn State. There's really no cold weather spots on the schedule. At Maryland, October 19th. I mean, long shot that it'll be
chilly.
Yeah, could be nice.
Yeah.
This is a loss. Rutgers at home. That's a tough one. A lot of power football. At Washington, home Nebraska, at UCLA, and then home Notre Dame. That's the great thing about the schedule.
And hey,
they're not putting on a freaking long sleeve shirt the entire season.
Hey, you just said something that I want you to think about. Mm-hmm. Those road games, and you mentioned cold weather. Those October, November meetings, mid Pac-12, when they went to Notre Dame and playing a Big Ten style football team like Notre Dame. So they're used to these games. Not wholly, but
right.
So the Michigan game, if they look at it like that.
Well, the point is they don't have to, like, that was the whole thing. Like, it's going to be windy and cold. Like they got the schedule.
Yeah.
The perfect schedule.
Weather. We've been doing that since we were kids. Thanksgiving, but turkey ball.
Oh, okay.
You didn't go out there when you were a kid, did the turkey? That was the big thing. Playing in the wind and the cold.
So what do you think he's saying by not saying USC? 10-2? Is that what Willie just said? 10-2?
Oh, 10-2 is that's a pretty good schedule for a team that just lost Caleb Williams, man.
You didn't say that.
Does Jada Maeva play?
Yes, at some point in the season.
Okay.
It's almost impossible for a quarterback to stay upright the entire season.
Yeah.
Not because of poor play by Miller Moss. He's pretty good.
He is. He was really good.
Okay.
He was. Mark McMillan, our guy, Grillin McMillan, was really happy. I can never remember the kid's name, so I just shot myself in the foot. But he's close with a safety on the team, family friend. And so I was live on TikTok and following Mark around for the celebration, and I edited it and gave it to him, and he tweeted it out, put it on his social media. But it was a really cool moment for those two, and they embraced.
USC 8-4. 8-4 is a push. You take the over? We doing this?
Why are you trying to suck me in all the time? I'll take it over.
Overreaction time is when you make bets.
Push is a win, because that basically what you're saying is they're going to go 7-5 or worse.
But I get 8-4 push.
Oh, I got to give you the push.
We both.
So push is a wash.
We get 8-4 as a push.
Push.
I need 7 or lower. You need 9 or more. That's a good bet. You're very confident.
It's a good bet because they're really probably going to 8s.
You think about it.
All right.
I'm not gonna pressure him.
By the end of the show. We will revisit this Friday.
We will. Yes.
We have to have it done by Friday.
Yes.
Okay.
You'll be with us at Treasure Island. Okay. But we're gonna have a lot of bets. Now, will we keep track of them? Probably not. Oh, JVT's back. He can do the spreadsheet again.
I'm 0-1.
He's gonna be more of a regular on the show.
I'm 0-1. I never forget what I owe. I'm 0-1.
I don't trust you though. What you owe, but a lot of times the terms.
What did you just say? Of all people, what did you just say?
So let's talk mac and cheese in Houston. I'm kidding. I just wanted to get you off the topic before you. No, you're not. You're not a Welch at all, or Welsh. You're not.
You guys make so many bets. I'm gonna start documenting. I'm gonna get it down. I'll be spreadsheet.
Only one person's the official documenter. It's
right now. We have 2 bets We have 2 bets in terms of one is done, confirmed, cashed from 2 seasons ago. I owe him a meal, and one is on the still live. Aces 28-12.
Yeah,
they got to go 7-0 down the stretch. By Friday, we will have decided on USC's win total.
Willie says, what are the realistic expectations for the Raiders' new starting quarterback? I say, this is kind of a deep question.
I did say that. That's a headline.
Do we just do straight numbers? Just like season numbers? You want to do yards and touchdowns?
If we're going to do yards and touchdowns.
This is not a bet. Like, everything doesn't have to be.
I'm not doing a
you
bet.
Ask, what are the realistic expectations for the Raiders starting quarterback?
Go ahead. Give me your.
Minshew at quarterback a lot of the time. Minshew starts at least 14 of 17.
Yes.
My expectation is 8-9. He doesn't, all bets are off. But this is not a bet.
It's not a bet.
Right.
Gardner Minshew.
It's not a bet. I'm just doing the record.
Gardner Minshew will, for this third time in his career, second straight year, pass for 3,000 yards.
Okay, so you just totally you did a different measure, but that's fine.
I'm going to
like
give
that.
you a win total when I'm done.
I feel like you're more, I don't know, you're blustery today because of this new deal you cut with TikTok.
I didn't cut any
He has
deals
a deal,
yet.
right?
I don't have an NIL.
He's like dropping her name.
I don't have an
right.
NIL yet.
You got a sponsor.
This is helping for ESPN Las Vegas
Yes, of course.
and Cofield
Yes,
Company.
it's gonna help give Griffin a lot more work. So thank you.
Yeah, baby.
Listen, when I'm getting peppered at 2 a.m. with instant messages and I wake up and I've got umpteen things from ESPN and Cofield and Company.
Yep.
So this just
never
helps.
stops. The show never stops.
3,000 yards,
Torture.
15 touchdowns, 9 and 8.
Wow. Okay. How many? What touchdowns?
15.
Wow. It seems low. 9 and 8. I think he throws more than 15.
Well, I'm just
Okay, we'll continue.
I'm looking
this.
at his
We're gonna
pass.
build this for Friday.
Okay.
We're gonna build this for Friday.
All right. Just so the listeners know, when the rundown comes across, Steve will have it written that goes, we're revisiting. Willie says 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 10 and 7, because you know that he embellishes.
It's all recorded.
If you look up embellish in the thesaurus, Cofield, his face is right there.
You question Steve Cofield's integrity. You question this show's integrity.
That's not
embellishing. Second sides.
Embellishing and integrity are completely two different things. That has nothing to do with integrity.
I'm gonna keep track. I'll keep track, even though John Von Tobel's going to officially be the tracker. Yeah, I'll be back up.
Is anyone betting the Raiders to win the Super Bowl? What are you hearing at sportsbooks?
I haven't heard that. I haven't, other than probably just fans. I don't think any sharps are betting the Raiders to win the Super Bowl.
What did Dewey say over at the RJ?
I have to look it up. Hang on.
What's happening?
They're facing the sportsbacks are facing a huge liability because of the high odds. So I mean, I think the natural thing for people to do fans wise is you're going and betting 200, 300 to 1, whatever they are, the higher odds.
Lottery ticket.
I like doing that with teams between, which I haven't looked at, teams between 40 to 80 to 1, sometimes to win their conference, because once you get them in the playoffs, you get a surprise team. You can start hedging the opposite way just to get your bet back. And now you're sitting on a nice prize ticket. The best one that I've ever done, when I was doing some sports betting shows, when webisodes first started, internet TV, and I mentioned 2 AFC teams and 2 NFC teams that were higher than 18 to 1 was, I had mentioned, I think, Pittsburgh and the Chargers and Arizona and maybe the Packers back then. I don't remember, but Pittsburgh and Arizona ended up in the Super Bowl. It's not like I do, anything special. But the point is, you try to isolate those big dogs, and then you have a ticket that's live. I've completely shot myself in the foot 2 straight years in the WNBA. I didn't do it this year.